We interviewed over 100 CIOs. We were asking them about the importance of data and particularly data analytics. Unsurprisingly, we found that 75% of them felt that data analytics was a high priority, and most of them were looking to spend more on it next year. Interestingly, the challenges they pointed out, though, were mainly around the availability of skills and the expertise they needed to make the most of it. And we also saw quite a lot of commentary about their desire and confidence of IT collaborating with the business to help the business take advantage of all the data that they have available to them. I think there's a cultural challenge involved for businesses in using data all over the place. Some companies just aren't used to it. And that's another place where IT, I think, has an important role to help support and push the business and give them confidence in using data. But ultimately, the idea that IT has to build and do all the analysis isn't really scalable. And that's why visual analytics is helping business users to answer questions of their own data without having to lean on IT all the time to do that work. So in Lufthansa, they'll use data to explore in the marketing area, for example, to understand about customer flight patterns and how they can make customers more loyal or increase the quality of service to customers. But at the same time, they're using it in the engineering side of the business, where they're looking at repair schedules and maintenance schedules on engines and on the fleet. Both data challenges, both completely different, and both really tied up. The business users, the engineers and the marketers really understand that data, but IT has created an environment where those business users can actually use the data to answer the questions that they've really got. In terms of using data across the business, there's 2 or 3 things that we see the organizations that we think are the best at this have tended to adopt. So the first is it'll tend to have really senior level buy-in. So the CIO and the CEO and the CMO all need to be behind it. Changing the culture of a business to be data-driven is a top-down thing. You need everybody in it. The second thing we see the best companies do is they really walk the walk. So they expect data to be used in all sorts of decision-making processes, and they'll challenge back to people who come up with ideas or want to make changes to prove the point with data. And so people get used to using data and it starts to drive a different culture. So walking the walk is a really important thing that CIOs can do and other business leaders can do. I think it's also important to identify the data champions in a business. And they sometimes come from IT, but quite often they'll come from the business as well. And most of the most successful organizations that we've worked with will typically have a collection of people across the business who might be seen as data evangelists, who really get excited about the potential of using data in the business, and other people look to them for help and guidance. And so building this team of data evangelists can really make the progress of change considerably faster. The final thing I would point to is we see the best organizations do take training and education pretty seriously. They don't expect it to just happen. So they invest both formally and informally in training and coaching people, actually as much as anything to build people's confidence with data. The tools, the visual analytics tools, are not that hard to use, but people need to exploit that inquiring mind and develop a level of confidence around using data in their day-by-day decision making.